welcome to another video. I'm really new to doing this, by the way, as you would have seen if you've seen on the channel, and yeah, I've watched a few now, so I know to say don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. But you join me today on Clay Pit Fishery. It's down in just outside of Ashford, in between Ashford and Canterbury. It's an old clay pit, hence the name. It's got carp in here, tench, eels, roach, rudd, perch, all of that sort of stuff, but predominantly a carp lake. I'm down here having a session fishing for the tench. Apologies for not looking at the camera too much. I'm keeping an eye on the water. I picked a lovely little swim. There is a guy opposite me. I was a little bit hesitant in going in here because I didn't want to mess him about because he's been here longer than I have, but he's fishing out into the middle of the pond. So I've got this little bay that I'm fishing in. I've got some pads to my left and some snags and some trees and stuff, and I just thought that a tench might be here. It's a little bit shallower, predominantly a deep lake, some parts 20 feet, but where I'm fishing here it goes from like 5-6 foot by the pads, and then it slowly drops off into about 10 or 12 foot. So I'm just fishing up on the top, just wondering if the tench might be hiding in the pads or in the snags. Who knows? And then the swim's quite I don't know if it's a double swim or whether, yeah, I suppose it would be a double swim. I've got two rods just over to my right hand side there, and those ones are out in open water. It goes from 10 feet on the right hand side of the swim, directly out about 30 yards, and then it's kind of shelves off down into 12.5. So I've got one on the 10, one on the 12.5. I've spread some bait across in a line. I've got both rods fishing at the same distance, and like I say, I've just spread some bait across that line from left to right in the hope that there might be some tench out there. Having spoken to the guy that's already fishing, he's caught tench in this area before. Last time he fished here he said he had 3, so we'll see what happens. Well, nothing much is happening at the moment, so I thought I'd give you a little run through of the fishery itself. You can book it online on Go Catch. You can get the app on your phone or go onto the website. It's £25 for 23 hours and a £2.49 charge. Lovely little lake actually, kind of in the middle of nowhere, very quiet. You can hear a road now and again, but really nice. I think the carp go to 36 in here. I spoke with the owner Jack recently, who said that the tench potentially could go to double figures this year. He said there's 2 or 3 in here that have got a chance, so that's a good sign. Good eels as well, which is good for me because, as you know, I'm an all species angler. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that. The Instagram, same as this channel, it's @TheHonestAngler. I do a bit of everything really. Tench fishing, eel fishing, perch, pike, rudd, tench, carp, sea fishing. Just try and have a go for everything. Also run socials. You can see that on my social media as well. So I do tuitions, which we're doing one here, which is the reason I'm here actually, as a bit of a recce, doing a tuition for 4 guys. And also do socials in the UK and in France. Got a few socials coming up next year at a lake called Lake Ruby, and there'll be a video soon as well. We videoed that whole thing. We actually did a video for the lake owner, me and my cousin Billy, who did my last video. The quality is much better than this one, by the way, I'd imagine. Real deal marketing, so Bill sorted that one out for me. We did a video for the lake owner Fraser. We did an overview of the lake and all sorts of other bits and bobs, and we also filmed for the MCT Carp Socials. So if you fancy a social with me and all the rest of the lads that come with me, then go and give @MCT Carp Socials a follow. If you go to my Instagram, my personal one, you'll see that on there. But yeah, that's all good fun. So that's a little bit about me. I suppose I better keep my eyes on the water and my ears open actually. To be fair, I went to France a couple of weeks ago, and my receiver, I've got the really old RX digitals, just because they've never given up, and the third LED on the receiver decided that it wanted to stay on. It used 2 batteries in a week, which is a nightmare. So I sent that off to Dow Electronics. He has messaged me and said they're coming back, or it's coming back. but I'm still waiting for it. So I've had to turn the buzzers up, a little bit old school. And yeah, luckily there's only one other guy on here. You can only have 5 people fishing the lake at any one time, and when you go online and you book it, you can tell who's going to be on here. So when I booked it yesterday, I knew that there was only going to be one other guy on. You arrive from 12 p.m. and then you have to be out of here by 11 a.m. I mean, I would love to get here mega early in the morning to see what's going on, but unfortunately you don't get that choice. But if you're doing a 48 hour, I suppose you've got the chance to move around. I think there's 9 swims, so yeah, so you 5 people on here, 9 swims, 4 swims to move into in the mornings if you're doing a 48 hour. And yeah, it's a really lovely little lake. It used to be on a ticket that I had 20 years ago, and I never ever came here. And I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't, because it is absolutely gorgeous. I think I'm going to probably come back a few times this year. I may even bring the float rod down. I'll speak to Jack and ask if I can fish for the roach and the perch, if there are any in here. The guy over there said there was perch and roach in here, so who knows. Anyway, that's a little bit about the fishery, a little bit about me and what I do. Fingers crossed we catch something. If we don't, it's all good. We've done the recce, we've understood the lake, we know what it's like. Ready for my little tuition in the middle of May. See you soon. Right, so I thought I'd take a minute just to, I suppose, explain to you how I'm attacking the lake. So I've had a little mark around. Like I say, it's a clay pit, so every single time the lead goes down, it cracks down because it's landed on clay, which is great. So we know it's pretty clear. So decided the left-hand rod is in 5 foot of water, just to go into something shallow near the snags. I've put a few spawns of bait out. It's nothing crazy. It's a little bit of dynamite ground bait, some 2mm, 3mm pellet, a little bit of crumb boilie, some molasses, a little bit of hemp oil, and some 12mm boilies as well. I haven't gone crazy, just a couple of spawns. And I'm fishing a helicopter setup with a 12mm banoffee bottom bait. Real simple tactics, and we'll see if that works on the middle and the right hand rod out in open water. Fishing helicopter on one, and then I'm fishing like scaled down carp tactics, just a little lead clip with a knotless knot. Again, one of those has got a 10mm pineapple bait on, and the other one has got a 12mm banoffee and a 10mm pineapple back to back. And we'll just see what happens. I have spawned some bait out there, those open water spots, and that guy told me that he'd seen fish showing on the wind line, which was pretty much where I'm fishing last night and this morning. So I put a little bit more bait out in the open water, but like I say, I've spread that out, so I'll probably put about 10 spawns, but it's nothing really, it's just bits and bobs. There's a bit of hemp in there as well actually, so it's just bits and bobs really, nothing, no big food items, and hopefully that works for me. I did mention earlier about my Instagram stuff. On a Friday I do a thing called In the Garage, where I just run through some tips, tactics, all of that sort of stuff, different setups that I use. Mainly people send questions in and ask me to talk about something. I get 90 seconds, it's just a reel. So for 90 seconds I talk about a topic that people have written in, and yeah, if you haven't seen them, go and have a little look. There's a few of them on there now, and let me know what you think. I'll run you through the rods in a minute. And yeah, lovely times. Right, so my setup, people always say, they turn up at carp lakes and I'm sitting here with a bivvy and bed chair, all the gear, and then they look at the rods and go, they're a bit small, mate. I fish with Drennan twin tip duos, 1.5 pound test curved. I think that's a 12 foot, yeah, 12 foot rods. I'll show you them now actually. So I've got the old school Shimano Aero GT 4000s, and then old school digital RXs, and then obviously the Drennan twin tip duos. I went for the twin tips because I do a bit of river fishing as well, and they turn into quivers. However, I used to own a tackle shop, so I'm very fortunate. I used to be able to get all my tackle, not for free, I had to pay for it, but a little bit cheaper. And yeah, got to the point where I was getting rods out, and I was getting annoyed that I had to keep taking reels off of rods to put on another rod so that I could go out and use it for a different thing. So in the end I just said sod it, I've got a rod for every occasion now. 3 of these for my tench and bream fishing. I bought another 2 11-foot for my quiver tip fishing and river fishing. So I've got a rod for every occasion. It's just easier to grab a rod out of the rack. Right, I want to go perch fishing, grab the perch rod. Right, I want to go tench fishing, grab the tench rods. So yeah, so that's how we're fishing. 12-foot, £1.5 test curve. I do have 3 different sets of tench and bream rods, going right away up to 2.25 pounds. So I've got a 1.5, a 2 pound and a 2.25, 3 of each. And the only reason is because of distance, so, and how big the fish are in the lake. So this little lake, I don't think on any of these swims you've got to cast any further than sort of 60, 70 yards. So this 1.5 is more than adequate. I'm fishing at, I think it's 9 wraps, so what, 36 yards, easy peasy. I think if I was having a bomber feeder or a 2-ounce lead, sort of over 60 yards, then I think I'd bring the 2 pound rods. Anything over like 80 yards, the 2.25 come with me. And if there's big carp in there as well, I mean, these rods here right now, tench fishing on a local lake in Canterbury a few years back. Went down there in the afternoon just for a few hours into the evening, and landed a 27 pound, I think it was, fully scaled mirror on it. It was a bit of a battle, and the guy in the next room down come up and said, "Cool, you've had that on a while?" And I said, "Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely brilliant. I could feel everything. The rod's buckled over." And he sat with me for the best part of 10 minutes while I was playing it, and he just giggled afterwards and said, I get it, I understand. I know why you do that, because that fight looked great, rather than just winding them in on great big rods and thick line. So yeah, so they're more than adequate. But if I'm fishing big gravel pits where I need to be casting sort of like 80 to 100 yards, then the 2.25s come out with me. And if there's big carp in there, sort of like upper 30s, 40 pounders, I know that I can catch them. I do have a stepped up pair of 2.75s as well, which I use for my barbel fishing as well. So if I did really need to, I'd use them. I've had carp to mid 40s on those. Fished a little carp lake that's got quite a number of 40 pounders in it. Just took the 2.75s, and again, carp anglers look at me like I'm mental. But yeah, mid 40 on a 2.75 barbel rod was absolutely brilliant. What a fight. So that's the kit. The house is there, Bivvy's there. I've got the radio on, just listening to a bit of football, and fingers crossed the tench turn up. Well, there's nothing happened at all today. I've seen 1 carp show over the other side of the lake, and about 45 minutes ago I see a tench roll not too far away from where we are. But we're just going into the darkness, not far away now, and just put some topped up a little bit more bait, because I'm told, I've spoke to a few more people since I've been here, there's a lot of silvers in here. So being a ground bait mix and bits and bobs, I've just put some more bait out over the 2 rods that are in open water, but nothing on the margin rod. And we'll just be hopeful, get my head down, maybe have a nice sleep, or get woken up. Let's wait and see. Good morning. It's 5:30, and I had absolutely nothing last night. The carp, they weren't going crazy, but I heard a few right in front of the guy that's fishing just over from me. One of them sounded a real big one as well. I've seen no tench roll yet, but I did hear probably about 6 or 7 carp. I had a couple of liners on one of the rods. Maybe it's where one of the spawns may have fallen short, I don't know. But I've got until, I've got to be off by 11. So, sort of like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'll start backing it down. But maybe, just maybe, we'll have a tench. Right, it's now 7 o'clock in the morning, so I've been watching for an hour and a half. I've seen one carp, I've seen no tench, I've seen a few roach and what I believe to be a few perch. That's it. So at present, from yesterday till today, I've seen 2 tench. Maybe it's a bit too early. This lake is deep, average depth around 10 to 12 feet with 24 foot in one area. Maybe it's a bit too early. Oh, he says. Oh, we're getting, that's the second time I've had a liner on that in the last 10 minutes. I balled up some ground bait this morning and put it out there. As I've said before, loads of silvers in here. Get 3 or 4 balls of ground bait out first thing in the morning, 5:30. Hopefully bring some fish activity, draw some fish in. Who knows? But I've certainly not seen the amount of tench I've seen on a local lake nearer to my house. But that's a lot shallower. That's sort of average depth of 4.5, 5 feet. So like well over half of what this lake is. So maybe it is a bit too early for them in here, but it's been nice being here, to be fair. So we've still got a few hours left. Like I said yesterday, you don't have to be off here till 11 o'clock in the morning. Out the gate by 11. So I've got a couple of hours yet before I start packing the kit down maybe and getting it on the barrow and getting it back to the car. Fingers crossed, as always. Guess what? Those little beeps have turned into a take. I thought I had a carp, but I haven't. A little grunt up in there. Is £6 3 ounces. Go and have your photo taken, mate. How's that? What an absolute beaut. That's what we came for. Well, I'm absolutely over the moon with that tench. It's always nice to catch them. Having sat here doubting it this morning, thinking, oh, I'm going to go away, I'm going to have to do a little bit at the end where I go, oh, I'm ever so sorry I didn't catch any fish. But I am over the moon, and I'm not over the moon, I'm quite happy to pack up now. My kit's nearly dry. I think I'm just going to go home. I never like staying around too late and wasting a day. I've got the bite, I'm over the moon, I'm not greedy, but what I will do now is I will just show you the rig. It's very simple. I'll show you the rig, what I've caught her on. Happy days. Right, let's run you through it then. So, real simple scaled down carp tactics. Gardner lead clip system, the Gardner target specimen, little 2 ounce lead, 10 pound adrenaline fluorocarbon hook link, down to a size 10 beak point Gardner target specimen hook, and 2 10mm pineapple baits. That's it. Nice and simple. Right, that's me, I'm all done. The gear is on the barrow and we are taking the walk back to the car. So just the one fish, £6 3 ounce female. Absolutely over the moon, to be fair, because like I say, I only see 2 shows in nearly 24 hours, which isn't great for this time of year, but the water is very deep here, so, and it's still quite cold. I had a little feel of it this morning. I should have brought my temperature gauge, but I'll bring that next time. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, you know what to do, like, subscribe, did all that stuff. And I'll see you soon in another video. Lovely times. Goodbye.